Good afternoon out there, everybody. I'm going to put together a couple of hat blanks here. I wanted to show you how we cut them and get them ready. I'm getting ready to go to the Klingspor Extravaganza. It's going to be a great big wood turn event. I think it's going to be really interesting to a lot of different people. There's going to be a lot of different carvers, turners, woodworkers, just a little bit of everybody there. It's put on by Klingspor every year. Has about 4,000 or 5,000 people show up. It's going to be a big event this year. Lots of big names coming. Go out there to the website at Klingspor Extravaganza, and they can give you a real breakdown of everybody's going to be there demonstrating. So that's what I'm getting ready for. I'm getting ready to cut up this log and do a little practice. This log's going to be, it's a 22-inch poplar log. So we're going to grab the tractor, we're going to pull this thing over here and cut a blank off of it, cut it up and work the blank up and show you guys how to do that, so that when you're at the show and you see me turning the hat, you're going to see me start at at an advanced position on it. It's not going to be from the blank all the way. So I want to show this so you guys can go look at this and see what we're doing to get to that point. And then from that point you'll see it at the show if you come to the show and watch the hat being made. So I really hope you guys will come out and see it, and I hope you enjoy this quick little video of getting the hat blank ready, getting it in the shop and getting it going. So anyway, I'm going to grab the tractor and we're going to get this thing over here and we're going to get it cut up and show you what we're doing. So stay tuned. Now comes the fun part. We're going to mark it up. I'm going to move the camera over there and then you guys can see what we do marking it up. Alright, here we go. We're setting up the log. I went ahead and did the other side just for the sake of time, and you're not to video both sides. It's the same on either side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the center of the log, which is a pith, which most everybody knows. And that's dead center right here. And the pith can be at two different locations on the log on both sides, depending on how straight or crooked or whatever's going on with the log. It could be at either place. So you need to always stick to your pith, and that way what we're doing is setting this up so that your hat grain pattern looks correct after the hat's turned and finished in the end. So what you're doing here really matters as to what your hat's going to look like in the end. If you don't take your time and do this right, cut your log right, and then get it all right, your pattern, your grain pattern in your hat's not going to really look that good. So that's something you always want to focus on when you're doing this. So we take a level and we set it up on center here first, and we're going to get it level. And it's kind of tricky. You're dealing with odd and end sizes, So we're going to draw a line across there. Now that's our center mark, so that when we get ready to put this on the faceplate, after a while, that center mark, we'll know where the center of the log is. And that way the grain pattern's right when it goes on the faceplate, and then throughout the whole hat turning process it stays the same. So, and then we're going to pull 1.5 inches off the pith on each side. So we're going to go here and we're going to take about 1.5 inches here and 1.5 inches here. Now I do 2 inches sometimes, depending on the log size and how how crooked the grain pattern is in it and all those different things. That determines a lot of what you want to do there. So we're going to set this up here. We're going to draw a line here. Now we're getting the vertical cut line, and this is where we're going to get our log blank. So, or a hat blank. We're going to come right down through here with it. Okay, and then we're going to get 2 hats out of this. 1 hat on each side. Be something like this, roughly. And that'll be a hat, and then we'll do the same thing on this side, and we'll have another hat for you, which will, we can get 2 hats out of there. Now these are not keeper hats. I'm turning them real fast. I'm getting myself in shape for the, so I'm doing a good job when I have the event at Klingspor. So that's all I'm focused on right now. I'm not really focused on saving them, but I wanted to show you this process so you know what was going on when we get the blank to the place. If you want to go out there and look at this beforehand, or if, I'm going to recommend people go see it so they know how we got to the blank, and it saves going through the process there, and it saves a lot of time. So now we're going to set it up, and we're going to get it sawed up, and then we're going to saw it, and you'll see us, we're going to take off probably a portion about like this on each side. That'll be the flat part of the hat. So your hat will be here and here and so on. All right, so let me move this camera around just a little bit so we're not in the sawdust way, and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. We're going to fire up the saw, and we're going to get this thing sawed up, ready to go. And then we're going to open it up, and then we're going to do the center and get this thing around. going to connect the dots on this. So remember we talked about the center of the log, and we got the line going this direction. So right there's our center on one side, there's our center on the other side, and we just connect those dots. And that gives us a nice center point on our log. Now what I usually do, some guys do it different. I'm going to measure that and see how long that is, and I'm just going to grab the center. Now depending on what you got, so we got about 20 inches, so around 10 inches, we'll do 10 and an eighth. It's a tiny bit over, so. And that'll be our center point for that log. Now we're going to mark that just like so, and then we're going to draw a circle on there with this big old thing. This came from Wood Turning Wonders, I think. And you check it before you spin it. We're going to run off a little bit over here, but that's okay. And then we're going to draw a circle to follow with the chainsaw. We run right off a little bit there, and should be good. So now I got a nice circle on there that I can follow with the chainsaw and get the get it ready to go in the shop and get ready for turning it. So we'll cut this off right quick and go from there. we'll move this into the shop and flatten it and put a chuck on it and get it round, and that'll be the it of what we're doing today. So you guys will see what's going on. All right, hang tight. Okay, everybody, here we go. We're gonna bring that blank in here now. It's a hat blank. It's very similar to a bowl blank. You guys that turn bowls, this is very similar in getting ready and getting set up and everything. And then the hat's thin wall turning, so it'll be just a little bit different from the bowl. In most cases, some people do thin wall bowls, so that's out there too. But either way, we're going to get this thing ready. We're going to get a faceplate mounted to it, throw it on the lathe, and round it up. So hang tight 1 second. All right, we'll throw this in like that. Now we're going to flatten this up. I like to get my center marker and put it on there. I like to make that center mark just a little bit more prominent before I start running the planer over it. That way I don't lose it and it stays the same throughout. And we'll see what we do with that in just a minute. Okay, so we just take a planer and we're going to kind of flatten this up a little bit. We don't have to do the whole thing. Oh yeah, it looks good. So always check, make sure your faceplate is flat when it goes down on there, so that you don't get any wobble in it. It helps keep your vibration down. It helps keep it from flying off the lathe. That's what we really want, a safe turn. So anyway, we'll run that in. Now, that little jig there holds that thing in place while we run the screws in it, and then we'll be ready to throw it on the lathe. Over here, and we'll run screws in it. This is a one-way faceplate. They're made in Canada. They're great tools. So one way makes some great tools. I use their faceplate, and I use their metal handles, turning handles, and I use their metal too. All good quality products. You won't really go wrong with them. Klingspor sells all of them, and you can get about everything you need to do this at Klingspor. And as long as he's got them. I know the timeline on getting one-way stuff sometimes is a little, I think that's just a shipping thing, I'm not sure, but whatever. But this is the stuff I like to use. It's a big faceplate. It's a little thinner in here so you get a little more bite out of your screw. Now what we're using for a screw is a 1-inch. They call them sheet metal screws. They call them a little bit of everything. It's a lot stronger screw. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'll put it there. Maybe you can see it. So you got 3/4 of an inch sticking out in this big block of wood. So it's not a lot of screw holding, but it is it holds as long as you get screws all the way around it, holding it in. And next thing we're going to do, we're going to put it on the lathe, and I'm going to put me some of these gloves on. They're black. There's a couple of kinds. I know Klingspor sells these black ones too. And what it does is it keeps the tenon in the wood from getting all over your hands and turning them black, because a lot of people react with the tenon in the wood. So anyway, that's what I put the rubber gloves on for. And we're going to throw this on the lathe and get it there. Here we go. All right. You can see these are big blocks of wood and they're very heavy. So you got to be careful and don't hurt your back. All right. We'll spin this around here and get it on there. All right. It's a big piece of wood. We're going to pop this. I'm going to change this to the bottom. The low gear, it's on high. That's doing some other stuff. So, all right, do one more. All right, we're turning on the Powermatic 4224B. It's the big one. I really like it. It's a great lathe. It's heavy, weighs about 1,000 pounds and won't move on you. So that's what you want. You want to try to keep your vibration down when you're turning, especially this big stuff. All right, so now we've got a center point. Now, the same center point we brought in from outside, came in here, we put it right there. That keeps the blank vertical and where it's supposed to be for grain pattern. And then what I'm going to do is I'll turn this to just a round shape with a flat side and a flat top. And then we transfer the faceplate to it on this side, and then that's the way we take them to the show. So we can, I'll throw this in and we'll run it around and get it going. Let's see if we can get you a little different view, maybe a little closer. So hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Let's get this thing going. I'm gonna take my hat off so I don't get my bill full of shavings. And we're gonna see what we got here. Okay, that looks pretty good. See, even at this size log, even with a big old 1,000-pound lathe, it can still make it move. And, all right, let's get a few going here. Whew, I got a wheel out of balance. All right, hold tight. Okay, I think we got this thing ready to go. Let me get some safety glasses and we'll be ready to rumble. All right, here we go. So here goes we'll try to get this thing around. About 300, 350. It's got a lot of liquid in it. All right, flip that. I'll pull this around here. Let's see what we got going here now. Try to wrap this thing up and get it flat on this side. Looking a lot better now. Now, this is all we're doing is getting it up to speed for taking it to the show, and then that way we can turn the hat off of it. So I need to look at a couple things. It don't have to be perfect at this point. We want to just get it kind of blank style ready. There's one. Now you take a ruler. We want to make sure this is flat, so we can put our faceplate on it. It's got a little hump in the center because of that being on there. And then we want to make sure we're, you know, at least the size of what we need. So we're about, looks like about 19 or so. So that's about where we want to be. What we're going to try to make this hat about 18 5/8 in diameter. And that'll give you enough to get you a nice big brim on it, make it look good. And then the top's going to be 6 inches, so we want to make sure we got enough there. And we got, oh yeah, we got plenty. Half the side is kind of chipped off there. It's 8 inch from the chainsaw, but that ain't enough to worry with. We still got what we need there. So, all right, now what we're going to do next is we're going to take this off and let it flatten it a little bit more, just to get that hump out of the center, so that when our face plate goes back on this side, we'll be ready to go. So we're just going to clean that up a little bit, nothing fancy. That's some wet wood, boy. And you have to have a green tree for this. You don't want to try this with a dry piece of wood. I've done some stuff with some spalted wood that was, that I made a hat, but it was kind of, okay, so that's nice and flat now. We got it where we want it. We get our face plate on it. And then we'll pull this back out. And we're going to roll this up, run it in to redo the center, keeping that center point through the whole process. That helps keep your keep the vibration down. It helps keep you on target and keep you round. So, all right, that's good. We're going to throw that up there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this off the lathe again. And this is a lot of work doing these hats. You got to take it on and off 2 or 3 times and get everything right. There we go. All right, we're going to spin this around here. I'll spin this around so you can see what we're doing. All right. There we go. There we go. I think you can see that okay. There we go. All right. Now, we're going to take this chuck off again, or this face plate off again. All right, now, shavings. Flip this over, sweep it off a little bit, mark our center point again. As wet as this wood is, that center point wants to keep going away, so you got to really stay on top of it. Make sure you don't lose your center point. All right, now, so I'll put that back in the center again, and we're going to roll this back on with screws and get it mounted. So, and then you'll see what we're taking to the show. Alright, so that's what we got. Now we're ready. This goes back on the lathe, and then we'll turn this into a hat. And for the guys, hopefully everybody goes to the woodworking show. If you guys are there, you'll see this not this particular one, but you'll see some I've made that I take that I'll turn into hats at the woodworking show at the Klingspor Extravaganza woodworking show. So definitely go out and see the show. I think you'll enjoy it. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot more than just turning. So there's a lot of talented individuals up there that can really show you what's going on in the woodworking world. So look forward to seeing you guys there. Hope you come out and see me there. So have a good day. Thanks.